I am kind of small. After about 3 years of lifting, this is what my arms and shoulders look like. I will not be showing you the rest of the physique because I know you're a little pervert and I don't want to reward your wondering eyes and the male gaze. But anyway, recently I've been more busy. I've been going out with my girlfriend and my friends, so I haven't been to the gym as much, which is why I switched from an antagonistic split where you train chest and back on day 1, arms and shoulders on day 2, and then legs on day 3 with an upper lower split. So here is my first upper workout of the week to go from this to this. Before we begin, I'd like to clarify that my goal in this split is to primarily bring up my arms and my shoulders. I have pretty good shoulders, but I would always like for them to be bigger, and my arms are definitely a lagging muscle group. My chest and my back are pretty well developed, which is why we are starting off with a bicep and side delt exercise, starting off with the machine preacher curl for 3 sets of 5 to 8 reps. I like going heavy on the machine preacher curl because I just find it's the easiest, it causes me the less fatigue, and it's the easiest mentally. Usually when I do low reps, it's not because of some science-based reason, it is because it's just easier to mentally get through. Even if they're harder reps, doing 5 is easier than doing 10. I hit this for 3 sets because, again, my biceps are one of my weaker muscle groups that I am trying to bring up. And as you guys probably already know, if you want to bring up a lagging muscle group, you train it first in the workout, which is why we're starting off with the machine preacher curl. Doing exercises first in your workout when you're fresher will allow you to get more gains from those exercises. Therefore, doing biceps first, for me personally and for my specific goals, is an excellent idea. We then move on to the side delt to some standard dumbbell lateral raises. My form looks kind of wanky here, and my form will look wanky in a lot of these videos. I am trying to work on it. Only for 2 sets here because they are a stronger muscle group of mine. I don't know if you can tell, but I have some pretty sexy side delts. We're not going to do triceps next because I find if I do triceps first in the workout, it really inhibits my ability to do my pressing work. Therefore, I will always do triceps at the end of my workout, and I only do them 2 times a week because even though the science says that the biceps recover slower than the triceps, in my personal experience, I find that my triceps recover slower than my biceps. This just comes down to people respond to training in different ways. That is why after maybe 6 months to a year of training, you want to personalize your splits. Figure out which muscle groups are weak, put them first in your workout, figure out what works for you and doesn't work for you. Because a lot of people could train triceps first and maybe it wouldn't affect their pressing work too much. However, for me, it affects it deeply. But if I train biceps first, it has very little impact on my back work. I only learnt this from 2.5 years of experimenting with my split and just training consistently. And this is something you're all going to have to do if you want to achieve maximum gains. So we're going to start with our first chest movement of the day, which is the incline barbell bench press. Again, my back is a bit better than my chest, which is why we're doing it first in the workout. Only 2 sets here of roughly 5 to 10 reps again. I usually stay at the lower end of that rep range because it feels more comfortable. We are rocking 70 kilograms on the bar. Can you believe it, folks? I am just so strong, aren't I? Anyway, moving on to the pec deck for 2 sets of, again, 5 to 10 reps. Only 2 sets again, because when you do an upper lower split, the reality is if you want to train everything, you don't really have the room in your split to do 3 or 4 sets of the same exercise because you're trying to condense the entire upper body, the shoulders, the biceps, the chest, and the back all in one workout. So you really need to make sure that you do lower volumes for each individual muscle. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to recover. I only just started incorporating this exercise again because the bicep attaches to the shoulder joint and to the elbow joint, it does play a little bit of a role in the pec deck exercise. And I find that no matter how I bend my arms or strengthen, my biceps always seem to take over. Therefore, I actually have a really hard time progressing on the pec deck. I've tried to incorporate back into my workout again. We'll see how I do long term, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we can progress on the pec deck this time. If you guys would like, I will make weekly, or maybe even monthly, monthly updates on my gym progress and all of my strength. I actually have a Google Doc with all the weight I'm doing, the reps, the sets. So, of course, if you would like to see that series, tell me in the comment section down below. We are moving on to some back work with the plate-loaded row machine. Only 2 sets here, again about 5 to 8 reps to really hit the entire upper back as a whole. Something I didn't do in my training footage that I think I'm going to try to incorporate in the future is supersetting this exercise with kelso shrugs. If you don't know, your mid to lower traps in your upper back are usually a lot stronger than your rhomboids and your rear delts and your biceps that can usually do most of the work in your upper back bias rows. In your elbows flared out, very important for upper back, bias rows. So kelso shrugs can be an excellent way of further isolating those middle traps so you can actually grow them properly. So I would always recommend after doing an upper back row, do a few reps of kelso shrugs. You might only be able to get 2 or 3 reps, but I think it's really important to properly develop the entirety of the back, all those teeny little muscles so you can have a thick, voluptuous and sexy back that all the girls will be staring at. Then of course, we have pull-up. I'm kidding. Weighted pull-ups are my next upper body day. And this upper body day, we are doing straight arm lat pull-downs. Excuse my form in this video. It does look rather dodgy. In this exercise, you want to keep your arms mostly straight. I find a slight bend at the elbow does make these feel a lot more comfortable. Of course, if you really wanted to, you could cuff it above the elbow so that way you don't have to worry about the elbow joint at all. Really focus on letting them kind of stretch out at the top and then feel that big squeeze at the bottom. The squeeze in particular is closer to where the lats do have best leverage, so you don't have to go all the way up, but you definitely should go all the way down in the straight arm lat pullover. I don't do weighted pull-ups here as well because I find that's a bit too much for me, so I do an easier isolation exercise for the lats and then a bigger compound rowing movement for the upper back to complete our back work for this upper body day. Don't worry guys, we're almost done. We are finally going to do triceps, folks. I know I said they were a weak point and we've pushed them to the end of the workout, but make up for that, we're going to do 3 sets on just the standard tricep push down. I like to cheat a tiny bit in the push down. I like to let my arm kind of move forward a bit and press down, simply because I find it way easier to progress on, and more importantly, I like to ego lift because I'm an egomaniac, folks. I am an ego lifter at heart. I know, very sad, your boy is an ego lifter, but you know, when those weights look at me with their deep, beautiful eyes and the pin just urging me, tempting, seducing me, if you will, to put it in the lower hole, how could I possibly say no? But that is my full upper body workout for this video. I do have a second upper body workout, which I will do later in the week. If you'd like to see me make a video on it, let me know in the comment section down below. But thank you guys for watching this video. I would not recommend copying this workout. This is probably not the most optimal. You could probably tweak things here and there. This is what works best for me, which is why I constructed it in this manner. I constructed it in a way where I bias the biceps, the side delts, and a little bit of triceps as well, because they're the muscle groups I want to bring up the most. But if you have a weak chest or a weak back, then definitely train those first. Anyway, that's the end of this video right here. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in my next Minecraft Let's Play video. Goodbye, everybody.